So weight loss is usually accompanied by the general notion that you need to eat less and move more. That phrase is chucked around like shit. Honestly, it's the amount of people that I hear say to people, "Oh yeah, all you've got to do to lose weight is eat less and move more." And it fucking pisses me off. It really pisses me off. Because to an extent it is right. Like you do need to be eating less calories and burning off more calories. And the way you do this is by eating less food and moving more, sort of. So just because you need to eat less calories doesn't mean you have to eat less food. In actual fact, people look at creating a calorie deficit in the wrong way. People assume that in order to create a calorie deficit, they need to eat as little as possible. And this ultimately leads to a lack of adherence because people fall off track after a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is, because ultimately they're too hungry and they feel like shit and they end up just giving in. And therefore, it's just not the best way to think about it. Instead of thinking of a calorie deficit as being you have to eat as little as possible, instead you need to be thinking of it as you need to eat as much as possible whilst remaining in the calorie deficit. Because what you need to remember is this: your body produces hunger signals based on the amount of food in your stomach, not the amount of calories in your body. So your body will release a lot of ghrelin, the hormone that's responsible for hunger, when there's not enough food in your stomach, when you've not been eating for quite a while, or when the volume of food that you've been taking isn't enough to stop that from happening. Like, use this as an example. If you got 1,000 calories worth of spinach, it'd probably fill quite a large space, more than your stomach actually. I'm just going to post a little picture here of what 1,000 calories worth of spinach looks like. Now that would fill up your stomach and it will keep you full for quite a while, which means that you probably won't feel hungry after eating 1,000 calories worth of spinach because you're going to be quite full. Now I'm not saying that you've just got to go home and smash off 1,000 calories worth of spinach because that would be a bit weird. But if you compare this 1,000 calories worth of spinach to 1,000 calories worth of oil, then you'll realise that 1,000 calories worth of oil will take up far less space than the spinach. Even though they are the same amount of calories, the spinach is going to keep you full. The oil won't. Which means that even though calorie intake is the core of creating a calorie deficit, you also need to start thinking about what food you eat and the volume of food that you eat. Because if you increase the amount of food that you eat whilst keeping your calories low, you are going to find that you create a calorie deficit, but you are also going to not feel hungry, which is how you make your fat loss journey easier to do, more easy to stick to, more adherable, more sustainable, and less likely to make you feel like absolute shit. The best way to do this is by potentially taking out certain volumes or certain portions of food and replacing them with lower calorie options. For example, I was speaking to one of my team members the other day and I gave this example. When you make a curry, for example, you've got rice, you've got your chicken or meat of your choice, you've got your sauce, you've got your vegetables, all good. If you take out about 20-30 grams of rice and replace that 20-30 grams of rice with more vegetables, say 50 more grams of peppers or 60 more grams of onion or whatever, you're going to increase the volume of that curry, which means it's going to take up more space in your stomach, but you are going to reduce the amount of calories in it. And you don't even have to replace the rice with it. If you literally just add more vegetables to the curry, you are going to make it a larger portion, which means it's going to make you feel fuller for longer because there's more volume to it. If you like the taste of Nutella, because let's be honest, Nutella is absolutely insane. I swear they put like crack cocaine in that bad boy because my God. If you like Nutella on toast, like a lot of people, let's be honest, it tastes nice, but it doesn't really fill you up. If you instead add a banana to that mix, chop up a banana into slices and put that slice of banana on the Nutella on toast, you have increased the volume of that food. Granted, you've also increased the calorie content of the food as well by about 90 to 100 calories. But because you've added some fruit to it, it's got a lot of micronutrients in it. You've added more volume to that food source, which means it's going to make you feel a little bit more full than simply just having Nutella on toast. So even though calories are the main core and the main thing to focus on when it comes to creating a calorie deficit and by expansion fat loss, it's not the only thing that you need to focus on. You also need to focus on what you're eating in order to make creating a calorie deficit as easy and as streamlined as possible. When you start to reduce the amount of calories you're intaking, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to reduce the amount of food that you're intaking. You should be looking at the food that you eat and thinking, how can I get as much food into my stomach as possible whilst keeping within my calorie goals? Sit down and evaluate how you can do that, how you can increase the volume of the food you're eating, how you can increase the amount of food that you're eating without actually increasing your calorie intake by too much. And you are going to feel fuller for longer, you're going to feel more satisfied, you're going to feel less like shit, which is ultimately going to make your calorie deficit and by expansion your fat loss journey way more streamlined, which means you're actually going to stick to it for longer and therefore actually get results, rather than just giving up 2 weeks along the line because it's too difficult. Because let's be honest, weight loss isn't really the issue that people struggle with. It's adhering to weight loss for a long enough period of time to actually start seeing results. That's the issue. And if you solve that issue with the recommendations that I've given, you're golden. I hope this has helped. If it has, please feel free to give it a like. Comment below if you've got any questions, because I'd be more than happy to answer. And subscribe to this channel to catch the next one. And if you want any more free fitness or fat loss based content, feel free to follow my Instagram at k.p_health. Have a good one.